This is Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate, the podcast where we cover home buying, home selling, home improvement tips and ideas, market trends and developments, and investing in real estate. If you own real estate in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, or want to own real estate here, then you're in the right place. Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate is hosted by Blake Watson, a real estate agent and investor in Tennessee and Georgia.
Welcome to Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate. I'm Blake Watson, an agent with Epique Realty. Now, a few weeks back on episode 20, which released on May 2nd, 2024, we explored two avenues of real estate investing, both fix and flips and rental houses. And I encourage you to listen back to that episode, number 20, if you haven't already listened. And today, we're going to go another step into finding a great property for investing. And today's ideas can be used for both fix and flips or rentals. And even with rentals, there are also differences with short-term rentals like an Airbnb or VRBO and a long-term rental. No matter what the case, whether it's fix and flip or short-term rental, long-term rental, in any of those cases, we always prefer to find a good deal. A house that can be purchased below market value and then improved or put to better use to create more value. And as a realtor, people are always asking me, how do I find a great deal? Well, most properties that are move-in ready and have little or no work to be done on them are usually going to sell at pretty close to the market price. So if you're looking for a discount from the market price, you're probably going to need to find a house that has something that needs improving. Now, it might be that it's just not the highest and best use of the property, and you can put it to better use. But when it comes to real estate investing, we're always keeping an eye out for properties that can be improved, maybe with a lot of work or maybe with little work, depending on how much you want to get involved. Personally, I like to find properties that have little work to be done, or maybe minor work. But how do you find the money-making properties? There are certainly a lot of different kinds of investment property and ways to make money in real estate. There's commercial office space, commercial warehouses, mini storage units, single-family homes, multifamily units. And as I've mentioned before, I prefer to work with single-family homes. They're easy to understand, they're easy to market and not only rent, but they're also easier to sell when it comes time to sell. You want to avoid property in a flood zone. It does create an expensive insurance requirement if you finance the property that's in a flood zone. Here's the thing. If it's owner-occupied, if you buy a house that's in a flood zone and you live in that house, you are going to have flood insurance required by your mortgage. However, flood insurance premiums are subsidized by the American people for owner-occupied properties. So if you do not live in the house, which would be the case if it's a rental, then your flood insurance premium, if required, is going to be higher because it's unsubsidized. Your cost of flood insurance is something you have to factor in, and it's going to be higher if you don't live in the property. When looking at investment properties, the riches are in the niches. Now, I took 4 years of French, and I know that the word is actually a French word, and niche is the way to say it. But for a good slogan, riches are in the niches, here's the message. Be great at one type of property, and you'll know it cold. And if you know the property cold, then that means you are going to be able to identify a good value and act on it quickly if needed. When you know the type of property you are searching for, you'll be able to easily know your numbers and the likelihood of it being a good buy. Once you really get to know what property you are focused on and you study those types of properties throughout the community you want to work in, then you are going to be able to identify that type of property and recognize a bargain right off. There's a neighborhood in the Brainerd area where we were able to buy several houses, and one of them we bought without even going inside. As soon as we were given the opportunity to purchase it at the price that it was being offered, we knew it was a great deal. We had some photographs of the inside, but we couldn't get inside at that moment. But we wanted to get that secured and get it under contract. So we did so instantly as soon as we knew that that property was available for sale at a specific price that we knew was a very good price for that area. A big mistake many investors will make is examining a wide variety of opportunities and trying to figure out how to make a deal work, even if it's not in their niche. So if you're trying to make a deal work, then maybe that's your sign that it's not a good deal for you. When you're examining a wide variety of opportunities, this creates the opportunity for mistakes, for miscalculations, and for bad deals. When people know you buy houses, they're going to bring a lot of different opportunities to you, and many of them will not be a good fit for you. So if you minimize this, you let everyone know specifically what you're looking for. Is it an older home, a new home? Is it 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom? How many bathrooms? Do you stay away from basements? Do you have basements? What neighborhood? What part of town? So once you've identified the right type of property, you want to tell everyone you know that you're looking for that type of property. Be specific in letting them know the type of property and the location, the neighborhoods that you want to be in. You'll want to post what you're looking for on social media and let your sphere of influence know that you would welcome any referral. Talk to your friends about it. You can get involved in a local real estate investors group. There are several in the Chattanooga area. One that I go to on occasion is the Chattanooga Investors Happy Hour for 21 and up. It happens on the fourth Thursday each month, except Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. at Goodfellas Pizzeria downstairs in their bar. That's why it's 21 and over. And it's a great opportunity to meet other investors and talk to them about what you are looking for. They may have a house that's a perfect fit for what you're doing. You'll also find other contacts in that meetup. And that's not the only one that happens. There are investment groups meeting all around town. You can find them. Just do some research on Facebook and Google. You can find them. You're going to want to let people know what you're looking for. Let your banker, your insurance agent know what you're looking for. Tell everyone you know what type of house you're looking for, where it might be located, and let them know that you're ready to buy one. I would suggest you contact current landlords. If you happen to know of a house that's rented, you can contact a current landlord and let them know that you are interested in buying. You may be surprised to find out that some landlords are ready to sell, or at least they may start thinking about it, and they'll know you're interested. So a friend of mine at church, a lady that I knew, who owned several rental properties, and she was a real estate agent, but she was ready to sell some of her rental properties. She had several that she wanted to sell. Well, I asked her about those houses and started talking to her about buying them, and she mentioned that another friend, mutual friend of both of ours at church, David, was also interested in buying those houses. And she suggested that I talk to David. So I did. And my friend David and I decided we would buy those houses together. And that began a great partnership. We bought those two houses from our friend and went on to buy a number of other deals together. We fixed and flipped. We bought houses. We sold houses. And David and I went on to have a great partnership. You'll want to talk to your realtor. Let your realtor know precisely what you're looking for and where you're looking for it. If you're working with an investor-friendly realtor who also invests in real estate, then your realtor may very well have other contacts and other resources to be able to locate houses for you as well. I certainly enjoy working with clients who are also looking at investment properties. And as a realtor, I'm able to look at the property through the eyes of an investor. And my clients will know that I'm looking at that property from an investment perspective for them and help them find good properties as well. You certainly can use online resources like Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com, Craigslist. Believe it or not, Craigslist still has some opportunities. Facebook Marketplace. Now, the thing about both Craigslist and particularly Facebook Marketplace is that there is a lot of fraud going on those platforms. I have personally seen a lot of fraud on Facebook Marketplace. It's hard to discern sometimes. The scammers are very skilled at what they're doing. So be cautious with any of these online resources, but particularly I have found that Facebook Marketplace, it's kind of open season. If you work with a realtor like myself, I'm going to have some tools that'll help discern whether we're dealing with a scam or if it's legit. Scammers are pretty sophisticated, so they may be able to fool a lot of people, but I do have some tools that help limit that. I would suggest you drive different roads and get to know new streets in the neighborhoods you're targeting. You can find for sale by owner or maybe a vacant home that you could contact the owner. If it's a for sale by owner, if their phone number is faded on the sign, their contact information is faded out, well, then they're probably going to really appreciate you giving them a call, and they're likely going to be ready to sell because they've had that sign out there for a while, and maybe it's not even easy to read. And so when you finally make that call, they're going to be glad to hear from you. So those are always opportunities as well. And vacant properties, if the property's vacant, there's no sign, but you see grass has grown up and maybe there's some limbs down in the yard, vacant property owners can usually be contacted by getting their mailing address from the county property tax office. And most counties have their property tax records available online. They certainly are available in Hamilton County, Tennessee, in both Walker, Catoosa, actually Dade County. All the counties in Georgia are going to have online property tax records, and you can find a mailing address for any property owner through that online site. You know, finding a for sale by owner or a vacant home, going down a different street or a side street may uncover an opportunity. It happened to me just the other day. I happened to be on a street and noticed a limb down across a driveway, and the limb had come down from storms that were several days prior. So I thought, well, it doesn't appear that anyone's parking in that driveway or that limb wouldn't be sitting there. And then I noticed that the house appeared to be vacant, and I stopped and took a closer look and realized there was a for sale sign in the window. It wasn't out at the street. It wasn't on a sign posted in the yard. It was just in the window, and it wasn't a very legible sign. I was able to make a call on that, and who knows where that's going to go. Sometimes you'll run into situations like that where someone has a vacant property or a for sale by owner, and maybe they're just not doing a very good job of getting the word out that this house is actually for sale. Another thing to look for, poor curb appeal that can be corrected. Understand, if it's not good curb appeal, that's not the end of the world, especially if you can envision a way to improve the curb appeal. Curb appeal is important in selling and renting a house. And it's not only curb appeal, but Instagram appeal. You need to be able to take photographs of the house and it look inviting and attractive. So curb appeal is very important. Sometimes the landscaping can be reworked to completely update the curb appeal. I mentioned my partner David. Well, we once purchased a house from a seller who was proud of this grove of river birch trees that she had grown in her front yard. Now, unfortunately, those trees had completely obscured the view of her house from the street. So you couldn't even see the house because of all these trees that she had planted in front of the house. But she needed to sell quickly. She had another job offer. She needed to move to Knoxville like the next week, and she needed to sell this house quickly, but she hadn't had any offers. Well, she was very pleased when we made a cash offer for the house, and it was significantly below what a full retail sale may have brought if she had better curb appeal and more time for the house to be on the market. What she wanted and needed was to sell quickly and move to her new job in Knoxville. That's what she wanted, and that's what she needed. To get the highest price, she really needed better curb appeal and more time for her house to be on the market. Well, once we owned the property, we proceeded to cut many of those trees down, and we trimmed up the ones that remained and made the visual appeal from the road much better. We completely changed the look of that property, and it increased its value simply by paying attention to the curb appeal. So try to visualize houses with different landscaping. Pay attention to attractive homes that have good curb appeal and see what makes them appealing. You may be surprised to find that curb appeal can be affordably enhanced with fresh paint, new shutters, and a new or improved landscaping. Sometimes just cleaning up the existing landscaping is all that it takes. That's what happened on this house. We just needed to get some trees out of the yard. Then, when you're looking at properties to buy, you can visualize how some changes can greatly impact the curb appeal and increase the value for you. So these are just a few of the tips for finding a house for investment. You can rent it, you can fix and flip it, or it could even be your personal residence. Now, if you'd like to start looking for a property to buy, then please contact me. I'm Blake Watson, agent with Epique Realty, and my phone number is 423-315 888-878-1815. You can text me or call me at that number. You can also find me on Facebook and on LinkedIn as Blake Watson. You can find me on Instagram as Rock and Roll Blake, and you can find my website, realestatebyblake.com. And if you found this information to be helpful or interesting for you, then I would appreciate it if you'd share it with a friend. Why don't you tell them about the podcast? And I would also ask you to go ahead and follow this podcast so that you won't miss a future episode. I'll look forward to talking with you next week on Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate.